Hello again from my front porch. Today I have a very special guest. Well, I don't know how very special. Special in like the short bus kind of way?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm sorry, I'm kidding.
No,
this
it's
is
not.
my sister Toni. Toni Delp. Delp because that's her married name.
Yes.
It's also my other sister's married name, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But Toni is actually the next one in line behind me. I'm the oldest of five, and then Toni is the next one. There's just a teensy little 8-year gap between us. My parents, our parents, I shouldn't say mine, ours.
Sure.
Yeah. We have the same parents. For better or for worse.
So they claim.
So they claim. But we have the same parents, but my dad, who people seem to think that I get a lot of my sense of humor from, again, for better or for worse, when people would observe that we have the 8-year gap between us, they would oftentimes ask why the 8-year gap, and my dad would say that it was because I had scared them so bad they were afraid to try again. It took them that long.
And then me, and then what, 2-3 years later, they had another one.
Yeah.
So I wasn't as bad.
Yeah. Well, there was an 8-year gap between us, and then there's Toni, and then they had. After me, they have 4 other kids, and there's about 3 years gap between all of them, roughly. So that ultimately the math adds up that between myself and my youngest brother, Zine, who you've met in previous episode, there's 20-year gap between him and I. So, anyway.
Actually, there's 8 years between me and you,
Yeah.
and there's 8 years between me and Jerry, the next brother.
Yeah. So apparently it's the whole boy thing, apparently.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Terry in between there, though, filling that 8-year gap.
Sure.
Yep. Terry's also the interesting one that we joke about. 4 of us are all born in relatively close time frame in October and November.
3 of us in October.
Yeah, 3 of us in October alone, but and then Jerry's is more later in November, but still all within that same October November-ish time frame. So that means approximately the same 0.9 months before is where something happened. Date night is that about their anniversary? Is that about the time?
And Valentine's Day too, kind of all right in there.
Mom's birthday's in there somewhere. Anyway.
Ew.
But then there's Terry, whose birthday is in April. It's like,
oops.
Yeah, it's like
Snowstorm.
Yeah, power outage sometime. Anyway, so you may notice that Toni is drinking this wonderful San Pellegrino blood orange.
It kind of grows on you after a while.
It kind of grows on you. I hadn't even opened mine yet. I need to get mine open. She asked me if I'm getting residuals or something, or a sponsorship from them. Not yet.
Cheers.
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 Tell them what you thought with your first taste of what that was.
It was very orange.
Very, very orange.
Orangey.
Because it does say on here it's 90% juice, but Toni was pointing out that it says it's 16% of that is orange juice and only 3% is blood orange juice.
Even though they call it blood
even though
orange.
it's blood orange beverage. So maybe that's because the blood orange is a strong flavor. I don't know. So maybe they minimized it. I don't know.
Oh. It's Italian. What do you expect?
Yeah. But her first few tastes of it were kind of. But see, now she's just chugging it away because she's, okay, well now it's probably the high sugar content.
It might be the black carrot that I kind of like.
The black carrot?
That's what it says on the side.
What's a black carrot? I haven't seen that before.
It's probably one you wouldn't
Black
normally
carrot
eat.
and paprika extracts for color. Ooh, I didn't know that they even put paprika in a soda.
Okay, no, hold on. It's orange colored.
Yeah?
So how does a black carrot make an orange drink?
I don't know.
Maybe it's not really black.
Maybe the black carrot is just kind of a dark orange.
Ooh.
I don't know.
They wanted to call it burnt carrot.
Burnt carrot?
Like burnt.
I'm guessing.
Blood orange? Blood orange?
Blood carrot.
Blood carrot.
Yeah. So, Toni is here today because, actually,
I have nothing better to do.
Actually, I was barricading myself in today working on edits for my book because.
And I'm a bad influence.
Which is just that's kind of the way you've always been.
True.
But I was working on my book edits today because I have to have it done here by the end of December. That's when they want it done. That's a very short time frame. And you know, it's not like I don't have anything else going on with the whole, you know, holiday season and everything. But so I'm trying to focus on getting this stuff done. They need it done though in the short time frame because, as I've shared before, they want to have it in print in the bookstore at the main big international conference that's coming up in May out in San Diego. And I want that to happen too because that's great visibility for it and probably a guarantee of a lot of copies being sold. Hopefully.
You'll be there to autograph them?
Well, yeah.
You heard it here.
Yeah,
author will be there to autograph them.
Well, you know, honestly, I did have this recognition a while back, and it was a little bit surreal for me. Was that I was remembering that because I've had other peers, other friends in ATD who have written books and they've done the whole author thing. And what happens at this conference is a new book that is out. They have this area in the bookstore where they have authors sit at tables and sit, and they have them scheduled. So like half hour, this author signing this book, this author, and so. Assuming my book is there in the bookstore, I probably will get one of those half-hour slots.
You need to start doing this.
Yeah.
Writer's cramp.
Yeah.
Can you still write with both hands?
No.
You should be able to do that.
No.
You better start practicing.
I haven't been able to do that since
it.
preschool or whatever.
Yeah, you were at least 8 because I remember seeing you do it. You used to color with pencils.
Well, I don't remember that as much now.
You can stay in lines with both of them.
I'm a little bit older than 8. No.
Senile. That's the word.
Senile. That is a word. Yeah. But so today I blocked the entire day to be working on the books. Well, that's not entirely true. I did have to also go out and pick up a few items for Christmas dinner stuff on Monday. So I already planned that break in there. But Toni called me. She was in town today and wanted to know if I wanted to get together for lunch. And I said, sure, that sounds great. And so then I also thought, if we're getting together for lunch, why don't I just ask her to come stop over by my house too, and we can do a quick little hello from my front porch. Because it actually, in a very long, stretchy attempt to make it work kind of way, it works that Toni is here on the day that I'm working on my book because Toni is actually in the book. Because she works for the Pella Corporation and does at least part of her duty is doing training related things, similar in the training profession like I do as well. And so they do some structured on-the-job training stuff and even some unstructured on-the-job training, but still, they do a lot with on-the-job training stuff at Pella, and so she's one of the people I interviewed for the book. So that...
When do I get paid?
I don't know. I don't even know when I get paid. I don't even know if I get... People ask me, they say, how much do I make on this? And it's like, I don't really know. I didn't really negotiate that part very well, I guess. But honestly, I don't think I'm not expecting to make a lot of money on it. I think it's going to be more visibility's sake because the ATD organization, they're paying for everything. They're taking all the risk.
That's true.
They do all the publishing, they do all the promoting, they do all the the editing.
Upfront costs.
Yeah. So I fully expect that most of the money goes to them, which is understandable. But it's a good way to get your start, to get something done. So anyway, at least that's my theory.
We'll go with that.
Obviously, I'm not writing the book for money. Anyhow,
for me.
So I had a good chance to visit with Toni about the stuff that's happening, and they're actually doing some really cool stuff. In fact, one of the things in the book that I really like focusing on, that I brag about what Pella has discovered is wasn't an initial intention of their program, but something that just sort of came out of it is the fact that they have an increasingly diverse workforce, some with language barriers. And the traditional classroom sits you in the classroom for days on end, listening to an instructor drone on about whatever stuff. That was increasingly not working, and it was creating workers that would wash out, that they wouldn't last. And that means turnover, and that means you keep doing that, restarting that clock, all of the recruiting aspects, all of the initial training stuff, and it's just a waste of time and resource. And so they needed a better way to stop that from happening too. And it turns out that at least part of the structure and the job training program they launched has fixed some of that. And so that was really cool to be able to focus on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to tell them any more about that or not.
It works.
What she's saying is you're gonna have to buy the book to find out.
He says it's in there.
Well, I know.
I haven't read it either, so
I know it's in there at this point. I don't know if it will still be in.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're still doing edits.
Yeah, I'm still
right?
doing edits, and then they get the final say on all of it anyway.
Delete.
I joke a little bit, but there is truth to this. That I wrote a chapter in someone else's book a few years ago. I wrote a chapter on doing needs analysis for training, up front, confirming you actually even need the training, that it's really the solution kind of thing. And I put a lot of time into it. I did a lot of work and edited that and put it all together. And then I could show you the book now. I have a copy of it, and you'll go to the table of contents. It has my name by the name of the chapter, Paul Smith, and I can show you this chapter. And then I can take you to the chapter, and I can show you the portions that I remember writing.
Period.
There's like two sections that are like, okay, I wrote all of that for the most part. I wrote that, but then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. It's like I did not write that, but it makes me sound really good to put my name on. I'm not getting away with that in this book, though. They're not letting me do that.
No, it's not printed yet.
That's true. But to this point, what's really interesting is, and to Tony's point about the quotes and stuff, I wrote it more like a journalist, where I interviewed all of these different people, and I got all these great quotes, and I used their quotes to tell these stories. Well, ATD now comes back and says I use too many quotes. They say that I've depended on others to communicate information that I, as the author of the book, need to communicate, and then use the quotes to back up what I'm saying. In other words, I need to say more and not let them say so much.
Oh. Or you need to say the same thing just first?
Yeah, or I need to say the same thing first and then just use the quote to reiterate or something. So I was telling Toni when we were having lunch, I said that it's really kind of interesting because there's that, and then there's also other spots where they say I didn't get enough into a topic, where I just kind of addressed it, but then I didn't dig into enough. Yeah, and I said it's a really weird to get instruction that, Paul, you didn't talk enough.
We never hear that. People who know us, we never.
So that's a little bit weird to get that. I don't know what to do with this information.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, it's like you want me to say more? Okay, you asked for it.
I can do that.
Well, it's actually harder than you might think, though, because there's a little part of me that feels a little bit guilty about then, because realistically they don't want me to just say stuff and then drop in the same quotes. There's some spots where they think the quotes are too long. That I'm letting somebody, have a whole page or two of, them quoting, and that I need to not have that much quoting. I need to say more of it and quote them less. And so there's a part of me feels a little bit guilty about, minimizing what someone has said, because I like what they said. It's like they took the time to let me interview them and give me the information, and now I'm just going to...
Well, you can still share it. You just get the credit for it. They don't.
Yeah, well, and there's a comment that the editor I'm working with makes, that he several times in his notes he says that I need to be saying this instead of the person I'm quoting, because when people pick up this book, they want to know what Paul Smith has to say about this topic, and I'm like, they don't even know who Paul Smith is. Why would they want to know what I have to say? But apparently if they bought the book and they see my name on the front, apparently that means they now want to know what I have to say.
There you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna give them a lot more.
Wow, that was a visual. A visual of you sitting at the table signing. Can I have your autograph? That's not what they mean, just in case you were wondering.
And it's even color-coded.
We just ate.
We did just eat, yeah.
By the way, the handballs, Smoky D's, yum.
Yeah, she had the handballs, Smoky D's. I had my usual smoked turkey sandwich. I like that. But Smoky D's is good. But I haven't had the handballs there before. But she says they were very, very tasty. She asked me if I'd had the handballs before, and I said, no, I have not had the handballs here before. But I'm not really interested in trying them right now with what I'm saying. And she said,
I wasn't offering to share. I was just asking if you could try them.
Silly. So
no point sugarcoating.
So Toni and I, as you can tell, we get along well. But when Toni first appeared on the scene, when our lives, when our connection as brother and sister began, that wasn't necessarily that way. Mostly my fault because of that. Because again, I was 8 years old at the time, and I had been an only child for 8 years. The world was mine.
Yes.
And then along comes this and messed up everything. And not only messed up everything by then drawing all the attention to her, but then when she started being able to walk and move around, she was a terror.
No, I was destructor. And very hungry too, I guess.
Yes, she kept going into my bedroom and messing with stuff. Now,
no, I ate your stuff.
Well, at first she would just mess with stuff, but then as she got older, she got a little more aggressive in how she'd mess with stuff.
I had to hide the evidence.
Yeah, and you know there would be things on the front porch that I had toys all set up out there, and I had this one metal building thing one time, this barn-like thing that she sat on.
Well, that was Christmas Day.
Yeah, crushed the whole thing.
Got it.
Yeah. And then I had action figures that she'd pull their arms off of, and
they weren't very good action.
I had a desk that smelled like my cologne for a while because she wanted to smell the cologne and wanted dumping the bottle all over my desk.
The bottle was slippery.
I used to have this Confederate dollar bill, big authentic Confederate. Now, stupid me. This really is stupid. At one point it had gotten folded up like 8 times into a square, and for whatever reason, I left it that way. Now, I should have long before that time unfolded that and put it in like a liner or something, keep it flat. I should have, because
a hard plastic liner.
Yeah, hard sealed, laminated. I don't know. because what the result of that is that when you unfolded it, all of those crease lines were because it is an authentic Confederate dollar bill. It's old, and so all those crease lines were very thin and is very susceptible to ripping, especially if a young little child would get in there and unfold that and find out that it all could come to pieces really easily, and then decide to eat like 5 of those pieces.
Someone must have barbecue.
And then, of course, there was the memorable time that she decided she needed to climb my dresser by pulling drawers out. Now, on top of my dresser, I had this big red ceramic piggy bank.
It was really pretty.
And some other stuff, of course, in my dresser too. But she wanted to get to the piggy bank, so she pulled some drawers out and had climbed. We're all out in the other room, and we hear this crash and a yelp from my bedroom. We all go running in, and the dresser has been pulled down and is laying on it. Somehow she managed to kick out the drawer that she was on, so that she went inside the dresser. So it didn't land on her. She was inside the dresser.
That's right.
As it fell. However, the piggy bank was like Humpty Dumpty. Crash all over.
Should have bought a better bank.
Should have bought a better bank. I guess, yeah, it's my fault.
It's still your fault. I was fine.
So needless to say, these events and more.
Yeah, that's just the highlight reel.
Yeah, these are reasons why I wasn't necessarily overly fond of this new little thing that came into the house.
But you know what I blame that on?
What's that?
I mean, see, younger siblings learn from their older siblings how things go and how you should do things, and you know, the fact that there was that animosity, I think I felt the need to reach out and be a part of your world. And see, you know, if you'd been more receiving, then not buying that, are you?
See, we need Brandy here to help us diagnose, because Brandy's really good at diagnosing. So she'll watch this and she'll be like, "Yeah, Toni, you are exactly right. Paul, shame on you for being."
I like Brandy.
No, I don't think she'll be quite that. I shouldn't say it that way. I don't want to give the wrong impression. But she probably will agree with you.
If that would be her opinion, I would accept it.
So now, obviously, over the years, our situation has improved. It's amazing. Once we no longer lived under the same roof and she didn't have access to my stuff, I liked her a lot better.
Same roof, the same county.
Yeah.
1 hour away. We got along really well.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
You took all your stuff with you, too,
yeah.
so I couldn't break it anymore.
Yeah. Although now she's here at the house, so I got to keep an eye on her.
No touchy.
But anyway, I still have to do my shopping stuff for the Christmas Eve, including one of which is, by the way, I have to get the turkey, and because Brandy is really trying to commit herself more to being in more of a vegan kind of mode because of her liver disease and food restrictions that she has. She doesn't actually want to mess with the turkey, and so she says, "I'm going to cook the turkey."
Oh gosh!
I'm
bringing a ham sandwich.
She said she's going to walk me through it, as if that automatically means it's going to be okay. I don't,
Jerry, Terry, Zach, ham sandwich. Bring them with.
Well, now I don't think I'm making this for ours.
Ours?
I think
Oh,
I think I'm
your
making
one.
this for the Christmas Day one with her kids.
Oh, well, then that's your guys' problem.
But still, there will be turkey. Now she says it's going inside a bag and then inside the roaster thing or whatever. And,
oh, hey, let me give you a tidbit. I learned this one from Mom.
Yeah.
Take that bag that's inside the turkey
You take it out first. Take out the inside.
Before Grandma pokes it with the fork and drags it out.
Yeah. I have heard that tip. I've also heard to not put stuffing in it. Just cook it as is. Don't put anything back inside it. But I don't know. I'll go with what Brandy tells me to do. That's my best bet. Because there's also I have a little hesitancy about taking cooking advice from Mom.
That's good advice. Love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom. My mom has a lot of talents. Biggest heart in the world.
Yep.
Biggest sweetheart.
And she's good at some stuff.
She's good at a lot of
Cooking's
stuff.
Cooking's
not one of them.
But that's okay. We all have our skills.
She continues to try.
She
makes a mean banana bread. I'll give her that.
Her skill is hugging people. That's her.
Yeah.
That's her skill.
You know, the Santa Claus movie. You remember that one where Frost freezes the parents?
Oh, Santa
and
Claus
magic
3.
hugs.
Is that 3? The escape clause. Santa Claus 3.
Yes.
The escape clause.
Yes. And magic hugs.
It's funny. I know that.
You wouldn't know that. But Jack Frost, it's all magical hugs.
Yeah.
That's Mom.
Yeah, she could give the magical hugs too.
She could give the magical hugs.
She really could.
Yeah, she could.
Yeah. And she's got, because of all those years working in the nursing home, she's got a firm grip when she gives you that.
She got mean grip.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She got and claws. Like Italians.
So I do have to get on to doing my other stuff.
He's been saying that for a couple hours now.
And then I have to get back to my book because it's and don't get me wrong, I'm really excited about this opportunity. I really am, but it is so much work. I didn't expect it was going to be easy going in, but I really had no understanding of the work. Now, some of the reason it's so much work is also because of the time pressures too, the constraints. But I had no real idea what I was getting myself into when I started down this path. I'm not regretting going down the path, but I will be glad when the path is done.
I have a question. So you get this one done. Mm-hmm. They print it.
Yeah.
It goes over well.
Yeah.
And they come to you and say, we want you to do another one. What do you say?
I doubt they're going to do that very quickly.
2 years down the road. 2 years down the road.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. It would depend. I would have to feel like I actually had an understanding of what it is they wanted me to write. What is interesting, though, is they have said that the ATD wants to do more in the on-the-job training area, because what ATD does is it's not just that they print books. They do workbooks and guidebooks, but they also do these workshops, these seminars, these paid session things that are like 1 to 2 day workshop stuff that you get certifications for and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And they do these in a variety of different areas. But this kind of on-the-job training area is one that they have not traditionally done this kind of stuff in before. And so they identify that as an untapped area that they want to go into. And the reason I'm doing the book in the first place, the reason I'm getting to do the book, I should say, because I went to them with the idea that how about I do this. I was a warm body in the right place at the right time, because they had identified they needed something in this area. I say I want to write something in this area, and they say, "Ooh, chink, these fit together." But
it was meant to be.
But they want the book then to be the foundation, the starting point, upon which they will then build out all of this other stuff, all of these other workshops and guide things, and developing a whole bunch of other content from that. Whether that means I'm involved in any of that, I have no idea. I haven't talked to them about that whatsoever at all. But it feels that just increases the pressure on me for the book. The book that I'm writing is not now just, hey, Paul's ramblings about structure on the job training. It's supposed to be the foundation of a whole bunch of new workshops and stuff. Oh, great, good. So yeah, there's that all of that is part of the reason why there's all the pressure, the anxiety that I have around doing the book itself. Even though I'm enjoying it, thank you. That's done. There's more in the fridge. So obviously you liked it by the end.
I think the sugar's all on the bottom.
Yeah, I guess we didn't shake them up before opening them up.
No, I didn't know if you could. Aren't they like? There's not really a lot of fizz to it.
Yeah, it's a little carbonation, but not a lot.
I mean, yeah.
Since 1932.
Oh, so it's aged.
Yeah, aged to perfection. All right. Anything else you want to tell them before I cut you off?
Merry Christmas.
Oh, that's a good one because Merry Christmas isn't like 2 days. It's hard to believe too.
I know.
We were just talking about that lunch. It's hard to believe that we're already at this point of being here at Christmas. Of course, looking outside in my front yard.
Nice green grass.
Yeah, I do like the green grass. I prefer the green grass over snow personally myself, but I do recognize that having some snow does make it feel more Christmassy.
You should mow on Christmas Day.
Have yourself a mowing little Christmas.
That would be funny. That would be a memory.
It would. It would be a memory.
Mow Merry Christmas. Here we go.
Speaking of which, it's a December episode. I have to have a Christmas song. I have to sing a Christmas song.
Okay.
What should I sing? Because I don't want to repeat ones that I've done. What do you like?
The pressure.
You know what we should do? Since we were just commenting about the green grass, we should do White Christmas. Because, it's nice song, but it's a little ironic too. Because of what we were just talking about, that there's no snow.
I know. I'm dreaming.
Yeah, see, I'm dreaming of white. I'm not really, but some others are. Okay, so you can sing with me if you want to, but you don't have to.
You go ahead, I'll try, but I have a little cold.
A little cold? Well, don't spread it my way.
See? Right here.
No. All right, so here we go. White Christmas.
Me.
Try to channel my inner Bing. Not Chandler, not the candy bar, Crosby.
Oh. That guy. We were talking about him at lunch too.
We were, weren't we? Yes.
No, Crosby.
Bill Cosby. That's what we talked about.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. That's not who I'm channeling.
Oh, that's bad.
But there is always room for Jell-O.
Jello.
All right, here we go. Bing Crosby. Hey, White Christmas, here we go. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow.
Not around here.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. Actually, I got them printed at Walmart. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white or green or brownish or
Sunny.
Yeah. All right, that's it for this episode. Thanks, Toni, for stopping by. And I gotta actually get back to being responsible. Oh yeah. We should have done Santa Baby. Although my coworker, when I did an episode of this, she suggested I sing Santa Baby, and I said I think that would be a little disturbing if I sang Santa Baby.
Santa Baby.
Well, go right ahead.
No. That was it. You gotta buy the book.
If you really want to hear her singing, go back and find the episode of the karaoke carol. You get to hear her do Chantilly Lace.
Oh, jeez, that's.
Yeah, that was a great song. It was even better
when the Big Bopper sang it.
Well, it was even better when you did an exercise video to it with Terry when you were kids, which I'm still want to remember to go find that video and share it sometime.
All right, you got a book to edit.
Well, I'm not going to do it today because I have the book to edit. Otherwise, I'd slip that in right here. I would. But I will find it and I will slip it inside because I also need to include a snippet of the best Barbie special.
Oh yeah.
Which Terry used to do those with the Barbies, and That was a messed up Barbie family. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah. There was no Brady Bunch.
And then I think that's also the same video. Yeah, it's the same video where I had a puppet talking to Jerry, our little brother Jerry. When he was like, he was very little at the time. He's not so little now, but he was very little at the time. He was so much. He was a pro, because even though I'm sitting right behind him, reaching around him with the puppet, he's talking to the puppet, and the puppet literally asks him, "Where's Paul?" And he says, "Upstairs." And he just played right along. Or he didn't realize I was sitting behind him. I don't know. Could have been either one. All right, I gotta go. I'll see you next time.
Here on his front porch.
From my front porch.